Hello there everyone, and welcome back to another video of Get Educated with DylanMarie. This channel is dedicated to discussing and discovering the truth of our history and present day facts. This way, we are able to better understand the world while continuing to educate ourselves. For the next few episodes, we will be diving into the history of a few women who helped make the world what it is today in our segment of A Misrepresented Truth, 5 women who defined history. Let's get real. It is no secret that women have been placed in the dunce corner in our history books for far too long. So in these next few segments, we will be discussing the popular knowledge around these women and then discussing and discovering the real truths behind the myths. And you may be shocked who ends up on our list. Without any further ado, let's get started. We start our segment with a vibrant red-headed woman. And no, I'm not talking about myself. This time.
Well, talk about being full of yourself.
This woman had an entire era named after her and influenced England in ways never seen before. Queen Elizabeth I. Born on September 7th, 1533, Elizabeth was the second-born daughter of Henry VIII and first daughter to his second wife, Anne Boleyn. Now, growing up with princesses, I kind of had a different image in my mind of what Elizabeth's life would have looked like, but it seems a little bit less than perfect before she started ruling England. Her mother, Anne Boleyn, beheaded for adultery only a few years after Elizabeth was born. She was actually removed from the line of succession by her half-brother, Edward VI, just to be thrown and locked away in a tower by her half-sister, Queen Mary. Luckily for Elizabeth, her father, King Henry VIII, was adamant that all of the Tudor children receive a top-of-the-line education, which would give her the knowledge and power she would need to claim the throne in 1558. She was 25 years old. Within her time as queen, Elizabeth led the English to a victory against the Spanish Armada after King Philip tried to take power. She helped fund voyages, providing ships for explorers to help discover the New World, and she encouraged theater and writing such as Edmund Spenser, Sir Philip Sidney, and of course, William Shakespeare.
What is to be or not to be?
You may be thinking now, okay, Dylan, let's get there, please. What is her misrepresented truth? You're telling me all these wonderful things about Elizabeth. What exactly is being misrepresented here? Well, here we go. From the moment Elizabeth took the throne, the pressure to get married and secure the Tudor line became very prominent. Both Parliament and the Privy Council felt that a man was better suited to rule England, and that Elizabeth, being a woman, was not as fit in the eyes of God. But Elizabeth saw this coming, and she was smarter than most. Being witness to divorces and beheadings of not only her own mother, but Henry's other wives, it is said Elizabeth related marriage to death, sorrow, and heartbreak. And so comes the tale of Elizabeth, the Virgin Queen. Notice how I put quotations around virgin. Well, back in the 1600s, as a queen, if Elizabeth was not a virgin or married, the church and her people would see her as unworthy to rule.
Boo! Boo! Boo!
Elizabeth knew this, so playing into the role she'd have to maintain throughout her entire reign as queen, she started the entire fabrication in her first speech to Parliament, where she says, "In the end it shall be for me sufficient that a marble stone shall declare that a queen, having reigned in such a time, lived and died a virgin."
Observe, Lord Burleigh. I am married to England.
Elizabeth herself started this tale, all because if her court ever thought of her as anything but a virgin queen, they could strip her of all of her power. With that, if she chose to marry, the likelihood of keeping her full power was little to none. So, by stating that she was a virgin and married to her country, she could keep her power of England and rule it the way that she felt was best.
I am Elizabeth Tudor, and I will bow to no man.
But in terms of Elizabeth actually being a virgin, well, I'm gonna drop a false on that. There are several stories of the Queen having romantic relationships, and frankly, how could you blame her? Being a solo ruler of a whole nation? Girl, you gotta get your kicks too. One of the most talked about relationships, which puts this title into question, is her relationship with Sir Robert Dudley, which has been discussed by several historians as a relationship which pushed romantic boundaries. Quite the scandalous story.
Robert, you know you are everything to me.
All that I am, it is you.
But that's for another time. Myths and tales aside, Elizabeth was quite the extraordinary queen. And she made it quite clear that neither a man nor her purity would take away from the elegance and strength of her reign.
I will have one mistress here and no master.
Recognize! Oh, and there's the bell! Although this video is ending, there is so much more to learn about when it comes to Queen Elizabeth. So if you don't want your research to stop here, I have listed some of my resources down below. Feel free to drop your own in the comments. Wait, before you leave, don't forget to like, follow, and turn on those notifications. That way you are the first one notified when our second Misrepresented Woman comes into play. And this one might just break all of our 6-year-old hearts. This is DylanMarie signing out. Stay educated, everyone.
Too late, too late.